Hey everybody, it's Charlie from DM Sound. Today we've got the sound system demo on the 2023 Genesis Electrified GV70 and its 15-speaker Lexicon sound system. In today's review, we're going to take a look at how the infotainment system works, take a look at audio inputs, adjustments, and controls, take a look at speaker locations, and then head out on the road and listen to these sample tracks while we're rolling, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Now, if you don't care about any of that stuff at the beginning and you just want to hear the music, click ahead in the video. We've got chapters to get you right to the tunes. And if you're tired of hearing the same songs week in and week out, sign up to become a Daily Motor member. I recorded a little members-only sound test here on this car while I was evaluating the system earlier on the range test. So if you want to see that and get a more in-depth listen to the system and help support the channel, check the link below. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. The electrified version of the Genesis GV70, you can hardly tell that it is the electric version. If you didn't notice that the grille is totally blocked up and that there's no tailpipe, you probably wouldn't even realize that this one is a full EV. But I've really enjoyed having this car around this week. It's a good example of luxury. If you think something like a Tesla Model Y is luxurious, you're wrong. This is actually a much more luxury example of a compact crossover. If you do want to see more on the car, check the link in the description. We've got our normal review, we've got a range test, and like I said, that members only sound test. Now we always do these tests with lossless, uncompressed WAV files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system, and high quality Roland binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio system demo on YouTube. We also do the test with the sound settings set to their factory defaults just as the audio engineers intended. Let's take a look at those now. I'm a pretty big fan of Genesis's infotainment system interface. You can either reach up and touch it, but it's way far away, so they give you a nice rotary knob here in order to control it. Now for a few years there, Genesis went with kind of a flat rotary thing that you had to scroll with your finger, and that didn't work as well, so they've gone back to this. I'm quite a fan because it's easier to grab, move with your fingers, and then push down with your entire hand. We're in the media screen now. Hopefully y'all can see that pretty well. It's not glaring out too badly. And let's go up to menu, and then down to sound settings. First off, you're greeted with a premium sound screen, but all that's giving you is speed-dependent volume control and startup max volume limit. I like the startup max volume limit because if you're rocking out in the evening, you come home, you shut off your car with loud music, and then you get in the next day, it's not going to blast your ears out. So let's have that on. Speed-dependent volume control as you get going faster, and there's a little bit more road noise. This thing's actually remarkably quiet inside, but it'll turn up the music in order to compensate for that. But no sort of surround modes or anything like that under premium sound. Then under position, you've got front, rear, left, right, fader, and balance. No big surprises there. Then in tone, treble, mid-range, and bass. Let's go through those. I'm actually going to wait for the song to pick up a little bit here, since you'll actually be able to hear some of the elements. And remarkably, that's actually it for audio adjustments. No sort of 9-band equalizer, no sort of special surround modes or anything like that. A bit strange. You do have this active sound design, but that's for artificial EV noise. For audio controls in the Electrified GV70, you have a nice volume roller here. You can either do it with your index finger or maybe your thumb, depending on where you're kind of scrolling there. You also have a volume scroller on the left side of the wheel. Feels really nice. It's got good clicks. And I like having a scroller. It's just a very intuitive way to do volume. For track selection, you've got a tuning scroller here, you've got the touchscreen or rotary knob if you're on the proper menu, or you've got a rocker right here on the left side by volume where it ought to be. For audio inputs, you have your standard AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, Bluetooth, wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with a USB-A data port there, and I think I said Bluetooth, so other than that, you've got this Sounds of Nature gimmick where you can kind of listen to sort of a ocean sound or rain falling or a warm fireplace. But that is it for audio inputs. So what does that mean you're missing? No wireless CarPlay or wireless Android Auto, and I think that's a big miss here in the luxury segment in 2023. It's Not classy to have to get in and plug in your device with a big ugly cable like this and have it running through the cabin when it could look so classy and clean there without it, and you could just simply put your phone away, maybe into this wireless charger, whatever, it'd look much better. No USB-C port, not the end of the world, but kind of surprising in 23. And no sort of streaming services built in, no Spotify, no Tidal, Amazon Music, Apple Music, anything like that. Speaker locations. As I said, this is a 15 speaker system, and it's a bit strange to me because a lot of the speakers are down low. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the drive, but I don't think that's great for audio fidelity. Starting in the bottom left, you've got a door woofer there, 1, mid-range up above 2, and a tweeter 3. 4, 5 mid-range and tweeter in the center, 6, 7, 8 on the other side. You've actually got a subwoofer here in the electrified version making, what was that, 6, 8, 9. In the gas version, you have subwoofers under the seats, but bass isn't a problem for this car. Then 10, 11 mid-range woofer and tweeter, 12, 13, and then mid-rangers back here in the C-pillars, 14 and 15. All right, I'm gonna get this stuff put away so we can head out on the road. elements that are important to me when evaluating the sound system: power, separation of instrumentation, and replication of the original media, if you will. And what's surprising me with this GV70's Lexicon is the power is really there. I'm loving the driving mid bass. I'm loving the low bass coming from the subwoofer down here. But what I'm losing is that the crispness and the separation and the satisfying upper ranges. Everything from the treble and the high mid ranges down to about the middle mid ranges sounds messy. And I really do think it's with the speakers being so far down here, not having any sort of treble going on up around here and allowing the system to really expand itself. I'm not loving that. I'm really not, especially in a song like this. To test out that power though for this next song, we will turn the bass all the way up and see how it sounds. I'm getting mirror shakage all around. I'm feeling it. That's a good bass. It really is, which is very different from the bass we experienced in the Electrified G80. That one was lacking in bass. This one's got it in spades. Up my thoughts on the 15 speaker system from Lexicon here in the Electrified GV70. It was really tough for me to put a figure, a ranking on this system. I actually recorded a members only sound test on this, talking it through more and really going through the evaluation process. So if you do want to see that, I highly encourage, check the link in the description, hear more songs from the system. For it to be an A system, it's really got to be special. It's got to wow me. I've got to listen to all my favorite music and really think to myself, oh wow, this is a pretty darn great system. And I'm just not quite sold on that. And I think the final thing that's going to put it into the B category for me is the lack of wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. If you're going to call yourself a luxury brand and you're going to have all these this beautiful interior and all these luxury features and stuff, but then you got to have an ugly cord plugged in to use CarPlay and Android Auto when all of the other manufacturers in this class are giving it to you wirelessly, that's enough for me to drop it down to a very, very high B+. We're talking 89%. You're almost there, buddy, but between just the weird speaker placement and the lack of the satisfying mid to highs where you hear all of your vocals and your instrumentation, your complexity, yeah, I love the power, but you got to give me more to get to A. So thank you all so much for watching. If you disagree, let me know in the comments, but I think Genesis has got to do a little bit better to get into A tier with this. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from DM Sound, and as always, drive on.